Those who haven't voted can begin to go to the polls in a couple of hours. And for many, they'll be voting for a candidate they don't really like all that much. Both Clinton and Trump are pretty unpopular with voters. So how have we got to this point? And with both candidates being so divisive, how will whoever is elected heal their nation? Let's talk to a couple of Republican and Democrat supporters now. Jenna Friedman, a comedian who's worked on The Daily Show and has written for The Late Show with David Letterman and supports Hillary Clinton. Laura Schwartz, who worked at the White House under the Bill Clinton administration. Charlotte Laws, who is a commentator and Trump supporter. And Jim Hobart, who is a Republican pollster and Vice President of Public Opinion Strategies. Welcome all of you. Thank you so much for talking to our British audience. Jenna Friedman, why are they both so unpopular?
Well, because Donald Trump's an idiot and Hillary's a woman. I don't know. I think it's really complicated. That's my opinion.
Right, okay. Charlotte, why do you think they're both so unpopular?
Well, there's been a lot of mudslinging during this past 19 months. It's been a rough and tumble campaign. We also have social media, which has played a prominent role. So you're up close and personal to your opponents or the people who are supporting the other candidate. And also, I think the media really is a big part of this, because the media, 95% of the mainstream media in the United States is backing Hillary Clinton and trying to derail Donald Trump, and not only calling Trump names, but calling his supporters names. Stupid, uneducated, crazy, racist, xenophobic, sexist, and then Hillary calls us deplorable. So that creates a lot of tension and divisiveness.
Jenna, do talk to Charlotte.
Charlotte, I mean, how are you supporting him? Like, it's so embarrassing for British people to watch this election and watch, like, Donald Trump is a fascist. I mean, he's just
true.
an idiot. Like, okay.
That's not true.
Okay.
I mean, if you actually go back and study, if you go back and study him, and I actually have, I've gone back and looked at his interviews, I've watched him for many, many years. I wrote an article about him about 10 or 15 years ago. I've read 11 of his books. If you go back and really find out who the guy is, find out about when he fought against racism.
Donald Trump has 11 books?
What?
That he's written? How many of those books has he actually written?
He has contributed with another writer, most likely. I don't know the specifics on it, but most well-known people have someone else who sits next to them and puts the words to paper. So I don't think you can attack him on that. But if you go back and really look at who the guy is and how he flies sick kids to hospitals and helps charities even when the cameras are not going, you'll see who the guy is. He's a guy with compassion. He's a guy who really wants to make the country better.
Laura Schwartz.
A guy that doesn't pay workers what they're worth because he files bankruptcy to get out of doing it. I mean, I'm looking at this from the global perspective, whereas he was asked 2 months ago and again yesterday, what if you don't win? And his answer was that it was a waste of my money, that it will have been a waste of my time and money. I was appalled. You know, anyone running for president, whether you win or lose, I maybe am more idealistic, but it's for the fact that you truly believe the solutions you're offering to solve the problems of our nation and this globally interdependent economy, national security backdrop, is because that's what you're doing, and you're hopeful for them. And we haven't seen that from Donald Trump this entire campaign.
Let me bring in Jim, who's a Republican pollster, also Vice President of Public Opinion Strategies. I wonder how you think this campaign has overturned the political norms that we've been used to in the past.
Well, certainly, as you mentioned, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are the two least popular candidates who have ever run for president in the modern history of the United States. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. One is Hillary Clinton is someone who has been in Democratic politics since the 80s and been almost Republican enemy number one since 1992. So it's a long time for a lot of vitriol to be built up against her among the Republican Party. And then Donald Trump has run a campaign that is designed to appeal to about 40% of the electorate and has quite honestly turned off the other 55% or so. And so I think because of that, you're seeing what has been an incredibly negative campaign and quite frankly a campaign that is absolutely the opposite of uplifting.
Jim Hobart, as a pollster then, both candidates have a credible route to getting the 270 electoral college votes that they need. Is this right, though? Mr. Trump's leaves no room for error because the Democrats dominate the most popular states like California, like New York. Is that accurate?
Right, I think that's exactly right. There are 7 toss-up states, let's say, right now, and Hillary Clinton essentially needs to win 1, and Donald Trump needs to win all 7. So the way I liken it to is he needs to flip a coin 7 times and have it come up heads every time. Is that possible? Sure, but his path is just much more difficult than Secretary Clinton's.
Jenna, as a Clinton supporter and as a writer for...
Just like a realist. I mean, I support her, but like...
Yeah, okay. But what will your response be if Donald Trump wins?
I don't know. I might move to London or Canada. I don't know. It's really scary. It's a really scary time for us. And a lot of people ask, like, is it easier to make comedy with Donald Trump running? No, because it's hard to make a joke on a joke. And the thing I want to say about Trump is that I know it's a negative campaign, and I don't even think it's as much him, because he really is, in my mind, just like a textbook narcissist. It's people like Charlotte who go on TV and support him, and everybody, Paul Ryan, the GOP, Marco Rubio, people who enable him, who have criticized him and like didn't have the backbone to really stand up to him, and that's why we're in this really scary position. Somebody with no track record of having integrity or experience in a democratic process or politics can be a heartbeat away from the White House with his tiny little fingers on the nuclear codes. It's terrifying.
Charlotte, do you respond?
Well, I'm really amazed that you would say that about Trump not having integrity when Hillary Clinton, 56% of the population thinks she should be in jail. 89% thinks that she is
But
not.
that doesn't mean she should be in jail.
What?
Like, you're just saying that, I'm not saying, 56% of the population means that that is a percent that actually equals like what is right. Just because people think something, that's our fault. That's like comedians' fault and the media's fault for manufacturing stories. I mean, the Clinton Foundation's been investigated. The emails have been investigated. Trump has not released his tax returns. Trump University.
The foundation is still under investigation. That has not been closed yet. But
Trump has not released his tax returns because they're like in Russian.
Trump has an uplifting message. He's actually started a movement. He has very
Trump has threatened to kill people. Like, what's uplifting about his message?
Laura, go on. You will come back in. Laura, go ahead.
Even if he doesn't win, I do believe there is going to be this movement's going to continue, and in 4 years or whenever, hopefully we will be able to drain the swamp and get the corruption out of Washington and get the system unrigged and really make the changes we need to make. I hope it's going to happen tomorrow. I think Donald Trump will be an excellent president, but if not, I really want this movement to continue, and I want an outsider to lead the movement and to become president down the road.
Let me read you some messages from British viewers. Chris on Facebook says, if Trump is elected, I'm officially handing in my notice on the human race. I'm going to start my own, where colour, race, sex, sexuality, and whom you choose to love are not factors in politics. We're all human, we all bleed. Let's rejoin humanity. We owe it to our children to at least try! Exclamation mark. Marie on Twitter says, how can the woman on your programme support Donald Trump? She said he's a guy with compassion. I don't think so. Laura on Twitter says, watching the woman on your show trying to stand up for Trump is the most awkward viewing, and by awkward I mean frightening. Charlotte, you said that if Donald Trump doesn't win, you want to see this movement continue. You wouldn't consider, with a Hillary Clinton win, moving to London or Canada, as Jenna suggested, if Mr. Trump wins.
No, I mean, most of the Trump supporters don't have this anger and hatred and vitriol against the Hillary Clinton people.
Watch
It's amazing.
the videos at the Trump rallies. They are proof of the anger, Charlotte. Here, Charlotte, here's the thing. We all want somebody outside the system to shake it up, to bring integrity back to the
Supporting
process.
Hillary Clinton. You should not be supporting. You should be writing in Bernie Sanders. At
Donald
least.
Trump is the monopoly man. There is nothing outsider about him.
That's not true at all.
Hillary's been
Even though
in the
he's
system for
a
30
billionaire,
years.
he's always been more in tune with the common person.
Okay, I want to have a final word from Jim.
As far as setting budgets or getting health care to children or supporting family medical leave.
okay. Yes. Okay.
The actual record of Hillary Clinton over 30 years speaks volumes compared to Trump's disastrous record. And when you talk about divisive, again, if Donald Trump doesn't win, and Hillary is the next president of the United States, I believe she will work very hard. And I can only imagine Jenna agrees with me over the transition period. And then once she's sworn in on January 20th to work with the United States Congress, she gave an incredible 2-minute video to the American people, just like Donald Trump.
Okay.
But here's the difference.
All right.
She spoke straight into the camera. She talked about working together. She talked all Americans, and she asked respectfully for their vote, and said that she would work for everyone regardless of who they voted for. Donald Trump did a 2-minute closing video that was divisive. It had horrible music behind it. It was scary, and he never once asked for a vote. He never once looked into the camera. I think that separates them quite a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much, all of you. I appreciate your time. I really do. Thank you. Jenna Friedman and Laura Schwartz, both Clinton supporters, Charlotte Laws and Jim Hobart. Thank you very much, both supporting Donald Trump. Full election results on BBC One tonight from 11:15.